Welcome to the Sleazy Podcast, the podcast about anything and everything, but mostly TV and movies. And now it's time to get sleazy.
All right, we are back for this episode of the Sleazy Podcast, episode 196. I'm your host, Sleazy, and tonight I am joined by Mr. PBS, as
Howdy.
always, the one, the only, Robzilla.
Hello.
And as you can see, we have two little guests here. This is my niece, Kaylee. Go ahead, say something.
Yay.
That's all you're going to say is yay?
Hi.
Okay. And then we've got my nephew, Lando, over there.
Hello.
You can stand up and speak into the mic.
Hello.
There you go.
They can hear me from right here, can't they?
No.
No, they can't.
No, you got to speak into the mic. So, I mean, they could hear like a whisper or whatever of you, but
Okay. So I have to take like this?
no, I don't want you screaming. Or you can lean over and Rob, you can probably just take that off for a little bit until they go upstairs. But we have you guys for a couple segments, I think, and then
Yeah.
we're gonna ask you to go upstairs with your peepaw. So
Yay.
you're gonna watch what are you gonna watch up there?
The
Let him have the mic.
Tyson versus Tyson.
Here.
Yeah. Logan Paul versus Tyson.
Okay. All right.
Who's going to win?
Mike Tyson. I hope Tyson.
Okay. I think everybody's hoping Mike Tyson will win.
I do.
Besides the Logan Paul camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's don't kill our
Is
guy.
it's not Logan Paul, Jake Paul.
It's
Is it Logan?
It's Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. Okay.
Less annoying. Well, that's the most annoying one.
I get those two mixed up
Yeah.
all the time.
They both suck.
They're like pretty much the same person.
Yeah.
They look the exact same.
You keep staring at yourself. Are you hiding now? Okay, so we're gonna open the show up with I don't know. We can talk election first. We've got the 2024 election. Then we're going to talk about the second UAP hearing that was just held on Wednesday. And then we are going to talk about the Penguin. And then to close the show out, we're going to talk about the substance. So does it sound like a plan to you guys?
Sounds good.
Is that
Yeah.
is that under the approval of Princess of Farts?
Yeah.
I'll allow it.
Yeah. So anytime you want to speak, just nudge Rob, and you can even take the mic from him and
Just no hardcore violence, please. Just
just be like, "It's my mic." You
this
can
is
even,
my mic.
It's
belongs
Rob.
to me.
You can talk to Rob however you want.
I'm getting abused by children now.
Kaylee made sure I wore the pink glasses tonight.
She has good taste.
Yeah, they are my favorite glasses. I will say that. I just can't wear them very long. The pink does something to your eyes after
That's
so
your
long.
eyeballs, yeah.
Yeah. After a while, like when you take them off, you see all these different hues, and you're just like, okay,
Okay. That's weird.
yeah, definitely is.
I wonder what that happened.
So, I think it's no breaking news here. I think we all know who won the election.
Yeah.
In
Are you happy,
Springfield,
Rob? Your boy won.
They're eating the
You happy?
dogs.
Don't even tease me that way, sir.
And it's just it's one of those things like I are people delusional? Did they really think Kamala was going to win?
I'm
not angry. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think we all saw the writing on the wall. And look, if no sitting president is going to survive inflation and continued price gouging and corporate greed, and I mean, even though the economy's doing good, people are struggling out there. And unfortunately, they go to the voting booth, regardless of how good you're doing and how many things you're passing. And, obviously there was a couple, infrastructure bill. What else was there? PBS? Refresh my memory. What else did the Biden administration pass?
Well, they had I think it was the Inflation Reduction Act, and they had like the CHIPS Act and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So they did a couple okay things. Biden was kind of out there with the union workers,
Right.
not the union railroad workers though, unfortunately. So
the auto workers.
kind of a mixed bag on that one. So yeah, not like a terrible 4 years. Like, if you ask people, like, inflation was worldwide. America handled
Exactly.
it better than just about any other country.
We've recovered quicker than any nation in the world, too.
You can say we're not in great shape, but we're in okay shape, really. But like you say, by all the metrics, the economy is great, sure. But if that doesn't translate to you and me and everybody we know, then it doesn't matter.
Right. And that's the thing. It's not translating to the average American. Rent and home prices are at an all-time high because of the housing crisis. There's just not enough homes and apartments to put people in. So it drives the price of everything up. And, prices haven't recovered from the pandemic. So, yeah, people, these companies, they're not going to lower the prices on their own.
No.
They like higher prices.
They probably gonna.
They've said it.
Higher.
If you want to talk, just grab the mic.
And also, I'm pretty sure Kamala won the votes. It's just the electoral college.
No, she didn't win the popular vote, buddy.
Nope.
No.
It did not.
Just go ahead and give it to him when he wants to talk. Can the mic not stretch out that far?
He's got it up on the.
Yeah, I'm saying, Mike, hand him the mic to hold. Rob's just like, lean over and speak into the microphone. You're just going to take the couple segments off, aren't you? Hey, look how anxious he is to talk.
Talks a lot.
Does he talk a lot?
Yeah. Yeah, he does.
So who did you want to win the election?
Kamala.
You wanted Kamala to win? So how about you, Lando?
Kamala.
And what was the reaction when you woke up the next morning to the news? Did you guys cry?
I died.
I was
What'd you say?
like,
I died.
PBS,
No, you didn't.
I was like what PBS said.
Speaking of the mic.
I'm not mad, but just disappointed.
Okay.
I'm a little mad though.
I mean, look, this is going to be, we're seeing all the people that he's putting in positions now, obviously. And I think some of them still have to be confirmed, but
I think all of them have to be confirmed.
there was something I was listening to where they said they could get around confirming certain people. Like if the House, whoever's in charge of the House can do something.
Yeah. I mean, well, they're going to have the House and the Senate.
Yeah. So it doesn't matter whoever he wants.
They're going to have majorities, maybe not like foolproof, filibuster proof majorities and all that, but they're going to have.
I think the one that even, just about both parties are kind of shocked by was the Matt Gaetz pick for Attorney General. I mean, this is a guy that was under investigation for trafficking minors for different things, which, we can't say in front of you two, but
where I want to know, where did his son Nestor go? You guys remember that? Like his Cuban son?
Matt Gaetz?
Yeah.
Had a son? I didn't know he had a son.
It's his son, air quotes. Nestor, or I think it was his name. He's been like his live-in son for a while.
Okay.
And he was a very athletic-looking young man.
Wow.
I haven't. There was a whole big article or video about him 6 months or a year ago or something, and we haven't seen him since. So I hope he's okay.
He is got to be like he's got to be the ugliest congressman that there is, or representative, whatever. He's in the House, right?
He's nobody anymore. He resigned.
Yeah, he resigned 2 days before they were going to release all the details about what he's been up to. But so we'll share this real quick. This is a little snapshot of president's race here. And this is final. So you need 270 electorate votes to win the presidency. Trump got 312. Kamala got 226. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, it was a landslide victory," but
in a sense, yes, because he won all the
he won all the swing states. But if you look at each swing state, they were all like 51 or 50, 48, something like that. I mean, it was close.
It was a few 100,000 or less votes, I think, in each state. And
it looks like he only. So, I mean, here's the national vote, the popular vote. Donald Trump got 76,387,055 votes. Kamala got 73,692,352 votes.
And is that 100% in? I think they were still counting some in California.
Yeah, I think they're still counting some. So, yeah, I mean, listen, it's like we said earlier, it's a lot closer than what it looks. When you look at the electoral votes, it does look like an ass whooping. But
it kind of was.
Like it kind of was, but it kind of wasn't. But yeah, she desperately needed to win at least 2 swing states, and she couldn't do it. I mean, obviously they wanted to win Pennsylvania, and
Yeah, Pennsylvania was a big one.
yeah, I forget how many. 19 electoral votes. So if she wins Pennsylvania, and man, she even lost Nevada too.
Yeah,
So,
she
I mean,
won those two, she
She just
probably
didn't
would've won.
resonate with people, and
She was another terrible Democratic candidate.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
And from people who I think we've all been voting for about 20 years now, we've seen a lot of horrible Democratic candidates.
I mean, John Kerry and what's his face wasn't terrible.
Yeah, but he was very me.
Yeah, he wasn't presidential.
Yeah.
I don't think John Kerry was a good senator. The other dude, what was it, John Edwards?
Oh yeah,
He was awful. He ended up cheating on his wife when she had breast cancer and leaving her, and
something like that. And
he's a terrible human being.
had his stories about his $400 haircuts or whatever.
Yeah.
I honestly don't like either of them, but in the long run, I would probably choose Kamala.
Okay, and what are you basing that off of?
Like prices and
Do you think she would have been better for grocery prices?
Yes.
The president doesn't control grocery prices now.
It-
They don't control gas prices.
They don't.
There's things that they can pursue, Congress to pass different restrictions and stuff that would help.
How old are you?
I am 10.
All right, so a 10-year-old now understands that a president does not control prices.
And
If
hopefully
he
you'll
gets it.
I get it.
How are you?
And how old are you?
She's 8.
There you go, an 8-year-old.
She'll be 9 in February.
And-
I was hoping he was going to start talking about tariffs there for a second.
Right.
What are
No.
those?
So a tariff is, like how we get things from different countries
Yeah.
that companies sell here.
Yeah.
So when those come in through our ports, if there's a tariff placed on them, the company has to pay the tariff in order to get it in, and the government collects the funds of the said tariff. Now,
Okay.
the thing about tariffs is the cost of the tariff is passed on to the consumer, which is us, the people that buy the products.
Oh, so it's on us.
Oh my God.
So it's on us.
Look how easy that was
It
to
is.
educate you on that.
Oh yes, that makes sense.
Well, I'm a good student because I can hear. I can.
Do you get honor roll in school? All A's and B's?
We don't do A's and B's. We do like
E,
M's.
Do you have like a good student award?
Yeah, we don't have like a good student award, but
At the end of the year, we get an award. if
I haven't
won
gotten
pie.
an award, but it's
Award.
either always M's, which means meeting the standard.
Would
or
you
E's,
say
which
you
means
are-
exceeding.
Would you would you say that you excel at being a student?
Yes.
I wouldn't say excel. I would say meeting the standard
That's
because there's still some stuff that is kind of hard.
that means
like-
you're a
like-
little better than the average student.
Well, average student.
Do you get A's on your tests?
Well, M's is an A, so yes.
Okay, there you go. That's all we need to know.
Yeah. W means working on it, which is basically like a B.
Okay.
What does N
And-
mean?
And N means you did nothing. You did absolutely nothing good.
for loser.
Yeah, L for
We need to bring this grading system out into the real world because I
Yeah.
could use some working on it.
working.
I'm giving you a
Working
W on this. Keep
it.
working on it. Okay.
Okay. I'm giving you an N on this. You did nothing right.
Agreed.
You did nothing.
Okay, so there was a lot of obviously, listen, I'm fine with a little bit of shit talking when you win. I think we've all posted videos, I mean mainly me, of people, being interviewed by people interviewing Trump supporters and them saying the most outlandish things that you've ever heard in your life. They don't know what's going on. They're just taking whatever they hear and regurgitating it. But yeah, a lot of people were talking smack, and people are devastated, obviously, that Kamala lost. And I hate to tell you this, but
A lot of people are mad.
you should have seen the writing on the wall in the Michigan primary when there was X amount of voters that abstained from voting over the Gaza, incident. A lot of people are upset about, Israel's war against, what do you call it? Hamas or
Hamas and the
uh,
Palestinian people.
Who
yeah,
won in Michigan? Kamala or Trump?
Trump won in Michigan.
Well, it's Michigan, so.
Yeah, all the swing states. So you got like Wisconsin, Minnesota, Pennsylvania,
Texas.
Georgia. Texas is not a swing state, sweetie.
Was it
Not
mainly the
yet.
good part of Michigan or the?
I don't know which region she won, but I mean,
It's the
obviously,
state of
normally,
Or was it the football?
normally your Democratic candidates score really well in the well-populated areas, like the cities.
Yeah.
So she
Good
probably
parts?
did really well in the cities.
Good parts.
The good parts.
Or the bad parts.
You
Or
don't even live in the
99.
city, sir. So you would classify your own living standards as bad.
What?
You don't live in the
What?
city, so you just classified your living standard as bad.
Huh?
I'm saying which. I'm asking which one won.
What do you mean? Which one? Like she
which
didn't win
side?
Michigan, so it went to Donald Trump.
I'm saying which side had more votes for Kamala and which one had more.
The
for
city, the city does. That's what I just told
Trump.
you.
Where is the city? Is it?
So like Detroit, you know, your bigger cities and states normally go to Democratic candidates.
Okay.
So
Now I understand.
But
After that,
it's kind of funny,
epidemic.
you know, there's this divide between friends and family on social media,
Yeah.
and a lot of people that voted for Kamala in, you know, the libtards as they call them.
Yes.
You notice Snowflake has just completely disappeared and it's just libtards now.
Because there are no snowflakes anymore.
Right.
Climate change is here. I think somebody's going to read like a political science book in like 100 years. And be like, what's a snowflake?
Right. Yeah. What was it? Mount Fuji didn't have any snow for like the first time ever. This
Like
year.
in 100 and some years.
It's something ridiculous. But, you know, like I said, to get back on this, there's a lot of divide, and people don't understand why there's divide, like especially people that voted for Donald Trump.
It's the economy.
Yeah. And I mean, listen, sidebar from that real quick, but you know, people's pocketbooks and the Gaza thing killed the Democratic Party. And if Kamala would have came out and said, I get in office, I'm going to end the war in Israel, and she would have won.
Well, I mean,
I think she would have won.
she
Because
made
can't
terrible
control
choices.
it.
Yeah.
She can't control it.
And
She
the one thing I'll applaud the right is they went hard. I mean, I'm not applauding them, but this is a big reason why they won. They went hard on the trans messaging in their ads. Like that's all you saw was trans and abortion stuff in the ads.
I was watching YouTube. Like
You got to speak into the mic, buddy.
I was watching YouTube a couple days.
How many abortion commercials did you see?
A
About
lot.
90% of them were about. It was like 2 days before the official election. I was watching YouTube, and then I was watching Minecraft because you know I like Minecraft, and
And you saw abortion commercials.
and it's just like before I watch it, it's commercials.
Like, and how does that get on?
Minecraft players don't need to worry about abortion.
How does that commercial get onto a kid's account?
I know, and it was.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's not a
It
kid's
was
account.
Oh,
was
so your
a
parents'
guess.
account. So yeah,
It was
okay.
a guest, but there is nothing.
still,
on
it's
there
guessed.
Searching.
Yeah, that's
There's
ridiculous.
No searching, like I didn't search anything about the election or anything. It's not on my recommended or anything.
Okay, so
I was just watching abortion ad supercuts. So
yeah,
give me all the ads. No, but like you say, like
It's ads.
Harris was just another middle of the road, terrible Democrat. She started talking about price gouging at one point. That was good. And then her brother-in-law, who's like this head lawyer or something for Uber, says, no, people don't want to hear about that. It's like, no, buddy, you don't want to hear about that. Because if they start messing with businesses and stuff like Uber, your money's going to go down. He said, don't talk about that. So she stops talking about price gouging. You know, like say like the Israel thing. Like, oh, I'm not going to do anything different than Joe Biden. Well, Joe Biden's not handling it great either.
yeah.
Trump's out there saying like, hey, I'm going to stop this stuff. I'm going to lower your prices. He's full of it, but at least he's telling you he's going to do it. And I mean,
He tells people, like, he connects to people's emotions, and that's big.
Yeah.
And that's something that the Democrats fail to do a lot. I mean, aside from the Obama years, they don't connect with people's emotions, and they just can't. These people that go in and vote, they can't relate to them.
and it's our buddy Dave on Facebook. He wrote a pretty good post. I think
That
he's the one that wrote it.
gigantic post.
And he was right about everything. I think you can. I don't want to downplay these issues because they are important issues. The LGBT stuff, the transgender stuff, they're important. But you have to you can't use it as like that's your way of scolding people. It's like, oh, you need to support LGBT people. And they're like, No, you just need to tell them like they're people, get over it.
Yeah.
You know, you
Yeah.
can't, they use it as like a virtue signaling kind of thing instead of just saying like, they're just people, just get over it, deal with it. Sorry.
I had to get you hiding there. You cool with that? Or do you want me to? I'll just move it back up. How's that sound? Scoot over there. Oh, there we go. You're good. You're kind of in the frame now, but everything's covering you up. You're short. You got to get some height on you.
He grows, but I shrink.
But anyways, back to the divide, between family and friends. And, we've had some pretty deep conversations about this. And you made a really good point that just has stood out to me since we've talked. And a lot of people have posted things like, if you're wondering why I'm not talking to you anymore, it's because, your morals are offensive to my morals. Right. And you're just not understanding that. Like the fact that you voted for a convicted felon, a guy who's been found guilty in a, what was it?
Civil trial.
A civil trial for sexual misconduct or rape. I've lost count because there's so much things. There's so many court cases going on. But by all standards of the people that are casting their votes for Donald Trump, these are people that are posting Bible quotes and all this, and their candidate does not represent the morals that they claim to uphold. Mm-hmm. And just like you had pointed out in a conversation we had, Donald Trump may not be a racist.
Right.
He may not be a racist, and you may not be a racist, but you're voting for the guy who is 100% supported by the racist.
Right.
So, you have to look at it like that.
I'll never forget, like I was watching on C-SPAN, the caucus in 2016 or whatever it was. And like the first guy that came out, they asked him like, who did you vote for? I think the Republicans have primaries in Iowa, not caucuses, but whatever. And the first guy comes out and says, I voted for Trump. And before like the reporter can even like follow up, he's like, no, wait, no, I'm not racist. I'm not racist. It's like, wow, buddy, why did you think they were going to go straight to that?
Right. It blows your mind though. Like you've got all these people, and how many screenshots do I send you guys a day of somebody posting something biblical or, you guys need to pray today, but you're voting for a guy that does not represent one quality that Jesus stood for or anything that the Bible stands for. So, just a little food for thought there.
I feel bad really for these people who are voting for him, thinking their lives are going to be better over the next 4 years, because they're not.
No,
like prices aren't going down. None of that stuff's happening. Sorry.
And they all think
unless he happens to like bring the CEOs to the White House and like put a gun to their head, which I will fully support that.
Yeah. Maybe somebody does need to bully these CEOs to get things under control.
Somebody definitely does.
But guess what? He was never like a CEO, but he likes money and he wants rich people to have money. He does not relate to you. He does not understand the struggles you go through. So therefore, he's not going to do anything for you. He understands the struggle that rich people have, hiding assets on taxes. And how do I squeeze every penny out of this lemon that I can?
We talked about, we haven't talked about here, but like Bernie Moreno beats Sherrod Brown, like sort of like the working class senator.
An incumbent senator who was well popular on both sides of the aisle. Republicans voted for him.
And he's beaten by a car salesman who's
a crypto bro
from like Massachusetts or whatever. Well, he was born, I think, in Columbia or something, and then he's lived in Massachusetts. So like he barely lives in Ohio,
right?
And he's like got in trouble legally for like cheating his own employees. Like, and the same with Trump. Like you're voting for these people who screw over their own employees, and you think they're going to help you out of the goodness of their own heart.
Are you guys okay? But anyways,
Rob, you can have your mic back.
Are you ready for that overtime?
Sorry. Yeah, these guys, they're scumbags.
They're grifters. I mean, sorry.
When it comes down to it, they're scumbags, dude, and they're not going to help the average person. They don't give a shit about you.
No.
And listen, I'm not saying anybody's a piece of shit for voting for Donald Trump.
Some of you are.
Some of you are
listening to this show.
Yes.
But I don't want to alienate any listeners or anything of that. But at some point you've got to look at like your morals and what you're voting for. And I've heard people say, well, I just voted for my bank account. And these are people that have daughters, that have sisters.
And also we're not like hating on the Trump voters. We're just kind
We're very disappointed in them.
of
That's the word, the phrase we can use here.
For me, it's more frustrating when they try to make this man the second coming of Christ. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, it's God's will. Well, if you believe in God, you believe in the devil. So you sold your soul.
He's a sinner and God has chosen him to be the leader. And
No, sorry.
Yeah.
That's why I get more mad about. If you vote for him because policies, whatever, that's fine. Well, because God said, okay, let's just stop that, please.
Here, scoot over so my man can get in frame. Because he's got an exciting topic coming up.
He does.
I always do.
But yeah, I mean, I figured, we've always talked about the election results. So why stop at this one just because it's a thing? Man, that microphone is loud as hell. You
I
hear it
know.
rustling around?
I have to raise my seat because I look way too short.
Dude, I don't think that seat's going to go up anymore.
Okay.
No, that's
fine.
That's an old school chair.
Yeah.
It's been beat up.
Yeah. You are just out of frame on this one. And
I honestly don't care.
yeah, just hold that microphone as still as you can because it makes noise. You hear that? You hear that noise when the cord flops around.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
But okay, so it is what it is. It's an election, and it's over. Stop moving around. You're making that noise.
It's not over.
You gotta hold still. Do you not hear that in your headphones when you move around?
Like John Rambo.
I'm not
Nothing's
doing
over.
anything.
But when you move, the cord moves.
I know.
You hear that noise?
I'm trying to keep it this way. It keeps trying to move me that way.
Yeah, just hold still. Okay, so
buckle up.
yeah, it's going to be an interesting 4 years, and the madness has already started. Like we said, with all these appointments, I'm just waiting for Lauren Boebert to be named the Secretary of the Department of Education or whatever. It's
that one. They're getting rid of that one.
Yeah, they're going to try. They're going to try their darndest to.
That stupid hillbilly.
And we haven't even talked about Elon Musk and paying people to vote and this Doge. It takes two people to run a department of efficiency.
Those two people too.
Yeah, of all people.
What's that one guy's name?
Vivek.
Yeah. What's his last
Ramaswamy.
name? Ramaswamy or whatever.
Douchebag, what it stands for.
Ramaswamy or whatever.
Ramaswamy, yeah.
Yeah.
He's
a character, that's for sure. Okay, so moving on, more news from the nation's capital. But Wednesday on the 13th, they held the second UAP hearing, and I actually put together a little bit of highlights. There's not many highlights from this. Like if you're following the UAP UFO topic, all this stuff that's come out through interviews on podcasts and stuff like that. But here is a little bit of what I thought was probably some of the more
briefly. Do you believe, just for the record, that the federal government, any part of the federal government, is knowingly concealing evidence about UAPs from the public?
Yes, sir.
100%.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. I also want to just go down the line. I know many of you have already said this, but I just, for the record again, just briefly, what do you believe UAPs could be or are?
Strong evidence that they are non-human, higher intelligence.
I echo my colleague's comment, sir.
Genuinely do not know.
Don't know, but we must find out.
Okay, thank you.
In the discussions, it's simply about material, or is there discussion about it was previously testified that there was biologics that were collected. Are you aware of any of that?
I am, sir, aware of the reporting that biologics have been recovered. Again, my focus was more nuts and bolts, looking at the physical aspects of these phenomenon, how they interacted around military equities and nuclear equities. So I'm certainly not a medical expert. I would not be able to probably provide you a whole lot of value in that simply because I don't have the expertise.
But was anything described as that we have possession of bodies?
Yes. Yes.
We have is it multiple types of creatures or?
Sir, I couldn't answer that. I can tell you anecdotally that it was discussed quite a bit when I was at the Pentagon. The problem is the supposed collection of these biological samples occurred before my time, in fact, before I was even born.
And was this part of the Lockheed Martin discussion, or was this the biologics is a completely separate?
Separate yet related.
Okay. Has anyone made contact?
Sir, I'm sorry, could you specify?
Has there been any, to your knowledge, any communication with a non-human life form?
So the term communication is a bit of a trick word because there's verbal communication like we're having now. The problem is you also have nonverbal communication. And so I would say definitively yes, but from a nonverbal meaning, when a Russian reconnaissance aircraft comes into U.S. airspace, we scramble 2 F-22s, and we are certainly communicating intent and capability. I think the same goes with this. We have these things that are being observed over controlled U.S. airspace. And they're not really doing a good job hiding themselves. They're making it pretty obvious they have the ability to even interfere with our nuclear equities and our nuclear readiness.
We're met with people not wanting us to have hearings. We're met with people not wanting us to ask you questions. In fact, many of us were told not to ask some of you certain questions on certain topics.
Scrubbed, the metadata can be removed. I'll show you this example here. This is a presentation from the UATP task force. This is completely absurd. It's nuts, this level of censorship, of redaction on a document. It shows the redaction of how many reports they've collected, for how many years. 2 of the 3 potential explanations are blacked out. The Pentagon, the intelligence community is treating us like children. It's time for us to know the truth about this. I think that we can handle it. Thank you very much.
You also mentioned in your opening statement that the Pentagon's Public Affairs Office employs a psychological operations officer as a singular point of contact for UAP-related inquiries. Why the heck would they do that?
Sure, that's a great question. I would ask the Pentagon. There's a long history here of that individual providing misleading and false information to the public through various news outlets and media outlets in order to discredit this topic. I've personally been victim to it. We have the documentation to substantiate where this information has been absolutely inaccurate, that has been provided time and time again. And it turns out that that individual was also working with former leadership of Arrow at the time as well.
And we punish them by giving them multi-million dollars more than they ask for every year.
Can you speak on that at all?
Ma'am, I'm not qualified, certainly as a scientist or otherwise, to speculate points of origin. I looked at everything from a scientific perspective. So if you look at, for example, instantaneous acceleration, which was one of the observables of the program that I belong to, ATIP, the human body can withstand about 9 G-forces for a short period of time before you suffer negative biological consequences, blackouts and ultimately redouts and even death. Comparison, our best technology, the F-16, which is one of this older platform, but one of our most highly maneuverable aircraft, manned aircraft, made by General Dynamics, can perform about 17 or 18 G-forces before you start having structural failure, meaning that the airframe begins to disintegrate while you're flying. The vehicles we're talking about are performing in excess of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 Gs.
You specifically said the document said you can't talk about crash retrieval. Well, you know, you can't talk about Fight Club if there's no Fight Club.
Correct.
Okay, I'm just making an observation.
This, again, is just the tip of the iceberg. We've only had 2 brief hearings on it. There's more work to be done. I think the success of this hearing today will mean that there'll be more hearings in the future, greater investigation, and hopefully more whistleblowers to come forward.
All right. So, what's everybody think?
1,000 to 3,000 Gs. Jesus.
Wow.
Those
I
crafts are
believe
booking.
Rob's been reading Mr. Elizondo's books. I'd be curious to know if he has any thoughts on it.
How many pages have you read of that book? What, dude?
0.
Why do you have a problem with time management? Like,
Yes.
what's the issue?
No, that's
Yes.
probably. That's
Do you sit on the couch and then like 4 hours pass by and it's time to go to bed?
Yeah.
Rob,
Dude.
how many?
When you clock out on your computer, grab the book, go sit down like you would to watch TV. But before you're allowed to watch TV, read a chapter.
Okay, Dad.
How many minutes a day do you spend pooping?
I don't know. I don't keep
I
track
don't
of that.
know.
I just poop.
Those are prime
10
reading minutes.
10, 20 minutes. You can read 2 chapters in that time.
2 chapters.
What do you think, Lando? Do you think they're real? Do you think they're here?
Yes, I actually, I believe that the universe is way too big to even the Omniverse is way too big to
Well, the Drake equation tells
not
us.
have any other forms of
Do
life.
you know what the Drake equation is?
No, I do not.
It's an equation that says that there's probably intelligent life out there somewhere.
Yeah, like
I mean, I don't know the exact definition of it. I'm on the right lines, right, Mr. PBS?
Yeah, it's something like that. Like if you take all the known stars in the observable galaxy or the observable universe and times them by the average planets around them and yada, 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 the odds are that there has to be something else out there.
Yeah.
Drake equation.
I think it's got something to do with the Fermi paradox, maybe, because I remember that being in there.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've really paid attention to a
Let's
lot
see
of
what
stuff.
the full definition of this is. So if we go to the Wikipedia page, I'm so tired of Wikipedia,
Me
like
too.
trying to get money off me.
Yeah.
I know.
Like-
Wikipedia might be one of the few places that deserves it.
Right. Go ask some rich guy for it, though. Okay, so the Drake equation is a probabilistic argument used to estimate the number of active communicative extraterrestrial civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy alone. The equation was formulated in 1961 by Frank Drake, not for purposes of quantifying the number of civilizations, but as a way to stimulate scientific dialogue at the first scientific meeting on the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. The equation summarizes the main concepts which than as a serious attempt to determine a precise number. So your browser has lost connection to your screen share audio. Whatever. I'm so over that.
I heard a click.
Yeah, I just heard a click.
Like old Walter White. I heard a click.
Right. It's still got our audio though. That's weird.
Yeah.
Hopefully it comes back on. I'm not too
mess
worried
with
about
it.
it. If anything, I'll just put the audio to this on.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, listen, you've got Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet. He's retired. He's an admiral in the freaking Navy. And this guy is telling you that these things are real. They don't know what is controlling these things. But one thing's for sure, they're telling you that this technology is nothing that man possesses.
Not man-made.
Not that we know about. It's physically impossible for a person to be inside these crafts. And you know, he's just telling you one piece of it. Lou Elizondo's telling you another piece. And then they had Michael Schellenberger, which, I mean, if you don't know who Michael Schellenberger is, he's a well-known reporter. He breaks big stories. He got a whistleblower that gave him a report, and he went and verified this guy through other, people that work through the, around the same department, stuff like that. He did his due diligence as a reporter. And this guy's telling you, yeah, we have a crash retrieval program, and it's called Immaculate Constellation, I believe. So the breadcrumbs are out, and it's just a matter of following them. And obviously, these guys all have NDAs, and they can't say certain things. They're allowed to talk about certain things, but they're not allowed to talk about other things. So it's a matter of getting them to be able to say these things out in the public. I mean, obviously, they can go into a skiff and talk all day with these senators about certain things, but they can't say it in a public setting because then they would break their NDA and they would be potential to jail time. They'd lose their retirement. I mean, it's a life-changing event for them. So they don't want that. But it sounds like there's going to be more of these UAP hearings, and hopefully the next one has more stuff that comes out.
Yeah.
I don't really see it being, I don't see them necessarily being able to get this out without somehow making it to where they can speak on the NDA, in front of Congress somehow. But I just don't see it happening until they get past the NDA part.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to pass something or, subpoena somebody and make them say something on the stand, which.
Or get some kind of deal where they got immunity or something.
Yeah. And that's the thing. People aren't going to say anything if they don't have to say it.
Yeah.
So these people, like, Hal Puthoff, and there's another guy that these guys know a lot. They were, I mean, Hal Puthoff did the what was the CIA program for they give you like a code and you have to visualize where that code is. The
astral projection, or
we're close.
Thinking about like MK Ultra.
Yeah, stuff like that. There's a term for it, and I just can't think of it right now. It escapes me. But yeah, they pretty much put coordinates down like in an envelope, and then they open the envelope, and then they have to they describe what's going on at that. God, what is that? I can't remember it now.
Well, one of the more famous ones is Indigo Swan.
Yeah, Indigo Swan.
Yeah, Indigo Swan's the most.
Now we're gonna have to
one.
look up Indigo Swan, so I can figure out what this freaking is.
Well, I guess like they give him coordinates. It was like somewhere on the moon, and like he astro projected himself, and then like he saw aliens, and then
no, it's remote viewing. That's what it is.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't astro project himself. I don't believe. Yeah, I mean they might. I don't know how it works.
I'm doing a remote viewing of Robzilla's living room right now. There's a dusty book sitting next to the couch.
Can you see the indent from his ass on the couch because he never fucking moves? But yeah, this is crazy stuff, and like you try to strike up a conversation with people about it, and they kind of laugh at you, and they don't care about it because it's just not being covered. And it is on certain news stations, but it's still not like mainstream. Like I don't think people are grasping that it's actually a real thing. That's real conversations that are being had with congressmen and representatives, and they're trying to get to the bottom of this. I mean, obviously everybody's kind of got their own thing they're going after it. You can tell Tim Burchett in that he's like, how many millions of dollars are we giving these people? It's like, come on, dude. Yeah, we get it. There's overspending everywhere in Congress and the military and all that. And that's what they do. They get a lump sum and then they pull money from that, or they pass these black budgets and they don't have to say what it's there for. But I think what they want to do is they want the public to be aware of what's going on. And why are they hiding this if there's nothing there? So that's the real question. Just like what's the one guy from Florida that was speaking in there? He was like, so if there's no Fight Club, you can't talk about Fight Club, right? So I mean, the writing's on the wall here, people. Yeah. There's stuff they're hiding, and it's not, they talk about, well, if we talk about this stuff, it'll expose our weaknesses. Well, we don't care about what's going on necessarily in the sky as far as, national security. Like, we want to know what you have.
Yeah.
Like, are you hiding something from us?
Or why are these things going into the ocean?
That's another thing.
Well, I think there should be more. I think people will look more into like the weird shit with like the cattle mutilation, how weird and bizarre those are.
Yeah. And that's they didn't quite get into that, but obviously in the last hearing, David Grush, I think he interviewed a bunch of people about, Skinwalker Ranch and stuff like that.
Skinwalker Ranch, I love that show.
Yeah, you would know it from the show. They do have a show now.
Yeah, it's a
good God, my throat is like dry from all that talking.
Yeah.
You can tell it's getting colder.
It's getting colder. And like also with all these like sightings of what's her name? The girl that like says she was floating above her bed.
Oh,
with her
you're talking
son.
about that's years old though.
Yeah.
He's talking about that documentary on Netflix.
Yeah,
It just
the
came
Manhattan
out, though, which is
abduction.
Yeah, the
weird.
Manhattan abduction.
Her name was like Lindsay or something.
I don't find that lady credible at all. I think she's full of shit.
But also there's like 20 sightings, so it's kind of confusing.
But
I don't believe it.
In another thing, like some of these people that do the hypnosis, I think they kind of encourage the answers they want to hear during the hypnosis. So
I think when people see that type of documentary, they're very like, they don't care.
yeah, I mean, she was shady as hell. Like they had the one expert on there that was like, yeah, we matched her handwriting to different, things that from other people that was, didn't come from those people. So she was writing fake letters and sending them as somebody else. So, but PBS, what do you think about this latest UAP hearing?
Did I sent you guys that TikTok today where it's like the government's out here talking about aliens and it's just Big Lebowski like, oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Like, call me when there's an alien on TV. That's kind of where I'm at. Like,
right.
And we've talked about this before. Like, what is a UFO? What is a UAP? It's an unidentified flying object. Like, yeah, okay, those are out there, sure. Is the government hide stuff? Yeah, sure, they always do.
They do
for reasons or non-reasons. Sure.
I'm after going through all the stuff that I watch, I listen, I read. I'm convinced that Roswell really did happen. I'm convinced. There's just too many people. Like the one guy that was in the picture holding up the what they said was a weather balloon.
Yeah.
And they've gone through this, and people have gone through the records of where the people were launching the weather balloon, and there's no way it could have been there. But the one guy on his deathbed, he was like, "Yeah, they told me to hold this up," and they were like, "Don't say anything. This is what happened. This is the story you're going with."
Right. Yeah. It's like things are gonna happen to you if you come out and say something.
Right.
They threaten them. Yeah.
But from when we were younger to where we are now, and then you listen to people like George Knapp talk, they never thought they'd get a congressional hearing on UFOs. It just wasn't thought of.
Right.
So, I mean, look how far we've come. And I was really disappointed in this UAP hearing because there wasn't any new information out. And dudes like Jeremy Corbell, they were like, the truth's coming on Wednesday. Well, you've already told. Why are you hyping it up like this? You've already displayed this message that's being put out. But I guess the important thing was, these guys testified under oath. But big deal.
Okay. I don't mean nothing.
Yeah,
it really doesn't.
I guarantee you somebody lies under oath every year.
I certainly believe that they believe what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's like kind of like Trump. I have concepts of a plan. It's coming. It's like, okay, let me know when it gets there. I will happily listen to what you want to say.
I think that they've seen things. And that's another thing. They say there's all this high def imagery. And I mean, crystal clear. You can see the ship. You can see all this other stuff. But they can't release it because it's classified. And it's like, well, can we just get somebody to leak it?
Yeah.
I mean, to where they can't be found. That's got to be possible nowadays, right?
I told Sleazy, I said there needs to be more people on their deathbed so we can just go ahead and just say it because nothing's gonna happen to them.
Yeah, because they're already.
But I mean, like when you watch Investigation Alien, the George Knapp documentary one.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, it's really good. But also they have this one guy who's a former CIA operative where he's more skeptical on a lot of stuff. So you get that people who absolutely believe it, and then he's kind of like, it could be this, could be that. Not sure.
It's funny, and I guess I'm going to go ahead and spoil it for you. But there's an episode. It's the last part of episode 3 and the beginning of 4, and it's like a holy.
Spoiler alert.
It's like a holy shit moment. But they go out and they map this part of the ocean, and they kind of stay out there at night, and they have cameras obviously on the ship, and they catch something on, and it clearly goes up, down into the ocean, then back up. And it's obviously a sphere. But I forget what is that what they're calling them? Spheres?
Spheres, yeah, something like that.
But
Alien must have forgot his car keys.
Yeah. But it was almost like it was, hey, you guys are around something you shouldn't be around. I'm watching you from over here. And that's like when you listen to the pilots that have encountered like the Tic Tac and all that, they tell you that it's alert of them, and it mimics their movements and kind of just plays with them. So right there tells you that something is intelligently controlling these to some degree. It may not be something inside them, but it's probably something in, whether it's controlling it intelligently through a mind connection, who knows? But it's definitely interesting stuff. And if you haven't watched the hearing, I urge you to go watch it and just educate yourself on it. Not that it's going to affect your life at all, but who knows? There might be some big news one day. Like, oh, we're just, a lot of people speculate that we might be soul containers for food or something, but there's all kinds of crazy stuff.
Well, just like with, like I said, the cattle mutilation, it's just like, it's so weird. Like they, even the ranchers, like they got these guys who've been ranching for 30, 40 years, and they're like third generation. They've been around cattle since they were born. They go, yeah, we know how a cattle dies normally. And then this is bizarre. I mean, it's like surgical. They're removing their mouth, their tongue.
There's no blood.
There's no blood.
There's always no blood.
Yeah.
And there's no sign that somebody dropped it off.
Yeah.
So like there's no tracks of footprints or tires or anything.
Well, there's one. I think it's more like a more famous picture, but it's the cattle. But he's like laying on his all fours, head still up, dead. And they're like that's not normal.
Sometimes the tongue will be removed,
Yeah.
organs
The
will be
mouth,
removed
the
from the
lips.
inside of the cattle, and then
There's this one. It was from Skinwalker Ranch, of course. They had this one baby dead cow. It had like 3 organs removed, and there was no incisions or anything. Its heart was removed, and there was no incisions.
And if there was incision, it's almost like it's like cauterized incision.
they're perfect. Yeah,
They're perfect. There's like
you can.
yeah.
These guys, they cut cattle up. They know what a knife mark looks like, but it's crazy stuff, man.
Yeah,
and it doesn't get enough attention. I don't think, obviously, because some people freak out about it, but I really think we're at a point in our human history where we can handle the news if we're not alone, or if there's something here observing us.
Yeah,
like PBS said, if there's something here observing us, it's not doing anything for me or not affecting my life. So what do I care?
You let me know when those aliens bring down the price of eggs, buddy.
Yeah. When you can afford a 12-pack of soda again because of the alien, you'll be praising him.
So I want to know how if say we are being watched right now, like are they affecting us right now? No, they're not. They're not like.
I think they're scared of us if they are as intelligent as they are.
Yeah, they're like, I'm not messing with those people down there, buddy.
No, I think that since they know how to like space hover and basically light year travel, I think they're too smart, and either they just don't want to mess with us, or they they're too smart because they already have all the resources they need. So what's the point if they're too smart to just go to war with us? Because there's really no reason they would. They have nothing against us, and we have nothing against them.
I guess there's a lot of speculation too that they think that they come here for like sampling and stuff too. Like there's something in our atmosphere or Earth that they want, or it could be.
There's all kinds of things, like in Lou Elizondo's book that you haven't read. That's another thing. Robzilla was like, "Have you seen this part in Investigative Alien about these orbs attacking people?"
I said, wait a minute. I didn't know about that. That's what I'm saying. That's all I said. I said, did you see that? I said, no.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
This is how it exactly went. He was like, did you see this part in here? And I'm like, you didn't know about that? And he's like, no. And I'm like, that's because you didn't read the book I gave you 3 weeks ago. It's like right in the first chapter, bro.
You
need to find him a UAP manga or something, some anime.
I mean, what do I have to do to get you to strengthen your mind with a little bit of reading every day?
Hire an alien to go say, read this now.
Yeah.
I can only hope the aliens are like from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. My dad owns a dealership.
I don't know what people want though, because I mean, obviously there's people that are like, oh, it's bullshit. It's a government psyop. They're lying to us.
It's to cover something up.
But you've got a rear admiral, a well-decorated guy in the Navy who's telling you he's seen this stuff. It's real. It affected exercises out on the ships. Then you've got Lou Elizondo, who, he's probably the most questionable guy because he's got a career in, this kind of stuff, obviously lying and seeking. Yeah. I mean, he's got that kind of career. And then you've got Michael Schellenberger, a well-accomplished reporter who's staking his reputation on getting this stuff out. He obviously thought it was disturbing that the government's hiding this from the people, and they're breaking the law, taking funds to research it, fund crash retrieval programs. So I don't know what people want.
They're taking our money for us not to know where our money is going.
It seems like the more higher ranked people are highly more decorated. They're like, I don't believe them. It's like, are you really? Is that why?
I don't know what credible person you could throw in front of certain people that would get them to be like, oh, okay.
Oh, you can just get a 6-time corrupt businessman.
I think but I think it's time for people to come to the conclusion that there's something here.
Yeah.
We're definitely not alone. So,
I mean, like like I said earlier, out of the millions and millions of universes and omniverses and all that kind of stuff,
it's got to be something out there.
And the millions.
Millions in the galaxies of what?
This is my guy right here. He watches Doctor Who with me. He'll ask me some questions, and I'm like, that is a deep question for a 10-year-old to be asking.
You're like, I'm impressed.
I am. He's a smart kid.
So like, how are we the only life form? Like, you believe in God, right? So, do you?
Do you, Sleazy? Do you?
He's gonna take a W on that one.
I would
working on it.
working on it. I believe that the possibility of God is possible, but I don't think that there's any proof so far.
I think that
You go to a Catholic school, so I know you believe in God.
I think him and science like work together.
You think God and science work together?
Like how the Big Bang. Like, we're not saying that I'm not saying that like he made it happen or he just created it out of thin air. I'm saying he like maybe made it so the Big Bang happened, but it just didn't like
Maybe
have created out of thin air.
You know what? Here's a theory for you. What if we're all just a part of God's dream?
Maybe.
You never know.
I think he needs
Like,
to watch the show Preacher.
What if we're just in like a little microscopic part of God's brain or something? You know?
It was like,
What if we're all just characters in a book that Robzilla won't read?
Right. All right, buddy. I think your time has ended with us. Thank you for joining us.
You start the penguin talking and the substance.
Yes, we are, sir.
Future podcaster right there.
I know. Well, he's got his own YouTube channel.
Oh, you're moving up.
What's your you want to plug your YouTube channel?
Sure.
Plug it.
Hobby guy.
That's it. Hobby guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll see it has like a turtle and a pond in it, but
Like and subscribe.
Yeah,
and
give
get
my
this
nephew a
man some
follow.
money so we can make him popular than the Logan brothers. Douchebags.
He says he's got Mike Tyson next.
Yep.
You're next, Mike.
All right. So moving on. All I gotta tell you is aliens are real. They're real.
W on the God situation.
And even if they're like beings that have been here before something cataclysmic happened, they're still alien to me.
And they also have the very topic too with the pyramids, like how perfect they are. They're like, there's no way I can be man-made, and that's another discussion as well.
I would love to take.
Sir, it's called math. All right, people didn't have books to not read back then. So they did math.
People didn't have a television to fucking plant their fat ass in front of for 4 hours a evening after they got off work. All they did was fucking study and lift fucking heavy stones.
They didn't have a TikTok app to open, and suddenly it's 5 hours later.
Yeah, I think we've all had that.
That rabbit hole.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting stuff, though. Definitely go check it out. And if you want some things to watch, I would suggest starting with The Phenomenon, James Fox's documentary. Excellent documentary. And what was the Virginia one he did after that?
Yeah, that one.
So you can go to IMDb and look up James Fox and find all of his stuff. But Into the Blue, I think, was his first one, which is okay. But The Phenomenon is definitely the best one until the new one comes out, the program. I'm hoping it's going to be good.
Well, watch anything with Bob Lazar too. Like that's
Bob Lazar's interesting. He's a fuckhead, but his story's never really changed
in like how many years?
Yeah,
30 years.
I don't really get like a bullshit vibe off of
No.
Bob Lazar, and I think they fucked with Bob big time when he came out and was the whistleblower of the late 80s or whatever. But
they're like, this guy's crazy. And they're like, no, he's not.
Yeah. So moving on, we're going to talk a little bit about the Penguin. Did you watch the Penguin?
I haven't got around to the internet.
What have you been doing with your time?
Sleeping. I've been on TikTok, obviously.
I finished that today.
Dude, the Penguin is good.
So I haven't watched a lot of DC shows, but to me, that might be by far the best DC show.
Well, it's a different type of DC
it doesn't
show.
Matter.
It's darker.
It's still good.
It's more adult themed.
I gave it 5 stars, like on Letterboxd.
Like on Letterboxd.
5 stars.
I don't know if it's 5-star, but it's in that 4 to 4.5 range for me.
It's 5 for me.
You don't even realize that that's Colin Farrell.
There's a couple parts when he turns his head, you're kind of like, it kind of might resemble him, but then it's kind of like it goes right away.
Yeah, it doesn't look anything like him.
It doesn't sound like him at anything.
How good does he have that walk down though? The cripple walk.
Oh yeah, I see you brought your little penguin with you.
Yeah. It's funny because in the show, he's not quite the Penguin that we're all accustomed to. He's kind of working, through things, and he's such a sleazeball.
Yeah.
He's telling one gang one thing and another gang another thing, and he's setting them up.
When it's so funny because when you're introduced, of course you know him from the Batman, but you introduce him, you're like, he doesn't seem that bad, but it's just you see him progress. You're like, wow, this guy is kind of a piece of shit. It just gets worse and worse.
And part of this is, he catches a kid, like in the first episode, he catches a kid stealing his rims or trying to.
Yeah, trying to.
And instead of like killing him on the spot, he kind of like takes him under his wing, and it's kind of like his assistant after a while. But the Penguin is a ruthless motherfucker.
Yeah, he is.
Setting people on fire.
Dude. Talking shit to Clancy Brown.
Yeah.
Man.
I mean, the first episode, he kills, he makes a pretty big kill, and you're like, holy shit, this show's off to a start.
High-ranking person, let's just say that. So,
but it looks kind of here's the one downfall about the show, I think. And it's not really a downfall, but just something you notice is it does look cheap at times. Like you can tell like there's a screen behind them or in certain spots. And, but it's still a really well done show, and it might be one of the best shows this year.
Yeah. I would say that.
You can tell they definitely had some influence from like The Sopranos, and like when you watch it, you're like, this is Gotham, but with The Sopranos in it.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Yeah.
And but man, it's a ruthless show, and I have to say, I kind of liked it a lot better than I liked the Batman.
I liked it way better than the Batman.
And I don't know if it's because it was a crime drama or what, but I'm not a fan of Colin Farrell. I've not liked him in the past, and I think I liked one movie that he did, and that was Phone Booth back in the day.
That's like one of his big first movies here.
Yeah. But I mean, other than that, I didn't like him in Daredevil. I didn't like that one movie that everybody liked back in the day where he pushes the one guy off of the tower or whatever. It's supposed to be a dark comedy.
Oh, it's In Bruges.
Yeah, I didn't like In Bruges. I didn't like the one they did after In Bruges.
Yeah, I think Talbot loves In Bruges. I like In Bruges.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it for a while.
It was just okay for me. I didn't like how, I don't know. I just didn't agree with people when they were like, this is the best shit I've ever seen. But the Penguin, dude, the Penguin is good. If you have not seen it, get your Max subscription out and watch it. And obviously you got to watch the Batman first. So if you haven't seen the Batman, watch that, because it picks up literally right where the Batman ends.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So, and there is no Batman. I'm just going to tell you that right now. There's no Batman. There's not really any other characters from the movie that's in it besides him. But even what's his face didn't reprise his role as
Falcone.
Yeah, Falcone.
Yeah. I think it was scheduling conflict or something like that.
I don't know what the exact reason was for him not reprising his role.
I know as Mark Strong redid the role for like a little bit. Mark Strong did.
But I tell you what, Kristen Milotti, is that how you say her name?
Yeah, I believe it's pronounced that way.
She plays
Sophia
Falcone, the daughter of Falcone, and she steals the show. She is awesome, dude.
She's a bad woman.
She's a bad bitch in this, and she's hot as hell in it too. Crazy. Yes, sir. She is crazy.
Well, she wasn't crazy initially, but then you'll find out.
Yeah. But man, phenomenal show, and it's definitely going to be in the running for a Sleazy at the end of the year, I think.
And our boy was in it.
I think I know.
Michael Kelly, Johnny Vitti, Doug from House of Cards.
Oh yeah, he was one of the gangsters under Falcone.
Yeah, he was like the underboss for Falcone.
He was good.
He's awesome.
Everybody was really. It was a very well done production, and this is one where I could watch again, and I just ended it. So, but yeah, all the episodes are out from season 1, and I know there's some talk about them doing another season, but they kind of haven't confirmed anything. But
yeah, I'm not sure where they could go with it. How kind of sets up.
Well, they got to get that next Batman out, which supposedly he's going to reprise. Colin Farrell is going to reprise his role as the Penguin.
I can see him getting a award for if they, I can see him getting an award for it, in my opinion.
But it's funny, man. This show, I mean, they really painted a picture of how fucking cold he is.
Yeah,
the Penguin's character from a little age all the way up till now.
Yeah.
But dynamite show. if you're a fan of DC material, you got to watch it. And I don't know. I mean, I imagine it doesn't follow much closely from comic books. I don't know if there's a comic that details the Penguin's early rumblings or not, but
I liked it I think it's a great way to get it like a backstory with like one of the main villains of Batman, which is fantastic.
I give them all the credit in the world. They did a great job putting this together.
And I was 50-50 about it. I'm like, do we really need to show the Penguin? I'm like,
that's kind of how I felt. You know, it's funny. We talk shit a couple years and then a couple years go by and you're like, did I say that? I don't remember it.
Well, initially you're kind of like, well, after you see the Batman, you're like, do we really need a Penguin show? Then it's kind of like,
yeah,
I
wasn't big on that Batman movie.
I seen it the one time in theaters and I've never.
It was enough. Yeah, it's not rewatchable. Like, you know, obviously the Christopher Nolan trilogy and Batman 89 and even Batman Returns. But I think it was just too long, and it wasn't that there wasn't enough action. Like that chase with the Penguin and the Batmobile was awesome.
Yeah.
And even the end part was awesome. But there was just something about it that they could have shaved, like
a little bit off.
Yeah, like 30 minutes. I couldn't even hear what you said, dude.
Paul Dano.
Oh,
Ave
yeah.
Maria, buddy.
But I would say,
see, you're coming through my earphones like all muffled, so I was like, oh.
But see, that's the thing too. Like, I was surprised how much I liked Paul Dano as the Riddler, because I liked
he was good.
I liked the change of it. It was kind of almost like a horror film when they introduces him.
I saw a meme that was like, it had Paul, his Riddler character, and it said, hates rich people, blows all the poor neighborhoods up. It's like, that is so spot on.
I saw like a lot of things with TikTok when he's like in the prison singing to Batman, and he's like, what have you done? And they've been like cutting in and out.
Yeah.
That shit's hilarious.
Like, there's some great things that came out of the Batman. Like, I loved Robert Pattinson like narrating as the Batman, talking about the nights and how they go on. But I don't know, like, he's still not Batman to me. Like, I just don't see it, and I'll never see it. Point and gate. Like, how do you feel about that?
He's fine.
He's fine, but he's not your Batman, is he?
I mean, nobody's ever going to be my Batman.
Yeah.
My Batman is Michael
Well,
Keaton.
the thing to me too is that this dude's taking like a assault rifle shots to the chest, like he's not getting stopped.
Right.
He's like RoboCop. I'm like, and this is like his major like equipment he's developed, and he's not getting hurt.
I get that it's an earlier version of the Batman and the bat suit, but it looked fucking stupid.
Well, just even Christopher Nolan's one when he's like new, he's like get his ass kicked and beat up. He can't move. He's doing his own stitches. And
yeah, but like we said, the Penguin, phenomenal show. You got to check it out. If you didn't like it, let us know. We want to hear why you didn't like it. But I think it's time for the last segment of our show. We're going to talk about this, The Substance. This is a new horror movie. Did you watch this, Rob?
I finished it before I got here.
Before you came, that's why you were late, huh?
Yeah. Well, I was at a birthday party for Tracy's cousin.
You're always at a birthday party. I'm so sick of hearing about it. Will you just become a Jehovah's Witness already so you can dedicate more time to us?
I'm just telling you. Jesus. Why'd you late? I was doing this and that. That's stupid.
It is.
You asked me. I told you.
You should have been over here on time, sir.
Well, that's my fault. I was waiting for Mr. PS to be like, I'm on my way. So that's my
Why
fault.
do you, between the two of you, like wait for one to say you're coming over? Okay. So here's the synopsis for it. A fading celebrity decides to use a black market drug, a cell replicating substance that temporarily creates a younger, better version of herself. I fucking enjoyed this movie. As you can see, I gave it 4.5 stars. I thought it was brilliant. I mean, from the performances to the writing, the throwbacks to all the classic horror movies that probably inspired this movie, I thought it was great.
Mine was a little bit less than yours. I gave it a 4. I like the cast. I like the cinematography, how it was done.
There's that word, the cinematography. Do you even know what cinematography is?
I don't need to know what it is.
It's the pictures that I'm seeing.
I just know when I see it.
I just know when I see cinematography, it's great. It was nice seeing Demi Moore back doing something.
Dude,
this is the first time seeing her doing anything in God knows how long.
I give Demi Moore all the credit in the world. I mean, how old is Demi Moore?
She's got to be in her
she's in her late 50s.
It has to be, yeah.
And for you to be in your late 50s, pushing 60, and you do full on nude scenes, that takes
62.
Oh, is she 62? Yeah. Wow. Hey, you're in your 60s and you do full on nude scenes.
Yeah.
I mean, not just nude scenes, but I mean, she's in a leotard doing exercise stuff. And I mean, and this is kind of a different role that, she's probably accustomed to. I don't think she's ever really done anything in the horror genre, has she?
Yeah, I don't think quite like this. Like she did like the Seventh Seal or whatever.
Yeah.
Years ago in the 80s or early 90s.
But the end of this movie is pretty gruesome and
it's pretty wild.
There's some scenes where she's, not necessarily full body acting, but you're like, wow, this is impressive for her. I mean, she hasn't done anything like this, I don't think. But kudos to her. Margaret, how do you say it?
Qualley.
She was so gorgeous though.
Yeah.
And totally, like, how much nudity did we see in the beginning of this movie? It was awesome.
Yeah.
Sue.
And if you're a Gen Z, you're probably offended by this movie. Like, I can't take the beginning.
There's titties everywhere. I can't take it. Calm down.
Unnecessary.
Calm down.
Did you know that the boobs were prosthetic?
I didn't know that, but
her boobs were Margaret Qualley's boobs.
I could see where they kind of look
Now, Demi Moore's, she's done nude scenes before, obviously.
Well, but famous one was like what striptease is like a real big famous one.
But I mean, she looked phenomenal for a 62-year-old.
Right.
Phenomenal.
Right.
I mean, all the credit in the world to her. And to do a scene like that at her age, that takes a lot of confidence.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, obviously, when you get older, you're not the same version of yourself. And, you could see a little, her butt's not the same, but she's still in great shape, but she's kind of,
I mean, you're 62. I mean, but
age is showing up at some point around her body.
But still great for a 62-year-old, you know what I mean?
But man, I mean, she had to feel great after doing that movie. Yeah. Like, I still fucking got it.
I got that shit.
But, got it. And Margaret Qualley, they wanted her to have obviously a phenomenal rack, a perfect rack. So I guess they put like a prosthetic rack on her.
That's the thing. It looks kind of very like plastic kind of look to it.
They're just like there. You can tell they look fake.
Yeah. It's like, come on now.
It sticks out like a sore thumb. Like, because it's funny, she takes the drug and then, I don't want to spoil too much, but they're in a bathroom and it's kind of like foggy from the shower. And she wipes away the mirror, and you see these fake titties there, and you're like, "Whoa!"
Almost like they're like fake, like almost like fat bastards. Like you can tell like how plastic fake they are.
Yeah. I mean, they look like rubber almost.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Was the ass fake? Because that didn't look fake.
Hers?
Yeah.
Oh, it looked perfect.
Yeah.
It looked
perfect. Where that's got to be fake.
That's as perfect as an ass can get, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But I mean, what did you think? I mean, you having similar thoughts to us?
You cretins and your nudity.
You flipping scoundrels.
No, I agree with a lot of that. Like, there's actually even points in the movie where I think they like purposely play up Demi Moore's like imperfections. Like I almost think they use makeup and whatever to make her look not as attractive as she actually actually is.
Right.
And there's there's a whole scene where she's I can't remember if I think she's taken the substance already, the activator, but she's going to go on a date as her older character Demi Moore, and like she keeps going back to the mirror, like her makeup doesn't look right, and whatever, and like that's a great scene of like just somebody
and she smears the makeup,
somebody
and she's
like giving into their insecurities, and
it's funny. Like the guy she was going to go out on a date with was just some random guy she went to high school with
who like loved her, like thinks she looks great and
thought she still looked beautiful, and she really didn't even need to put makeup on. He would have enjoyed her company regardless.
Right. So
he's like, well, if I'm 10th grade homeroom or something like that.
Oh, she had no idea who that fucking guy was.
Oh yeah, I know you. She don't remember.
I'm a star. And I love little things like when she goes to get it and she has to like go through the door that doesn't open all the way. She's like has to crawl through it.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like degrading in a way. There's so many little things like that I enjoy in this movie. It's got like this great like pulsing kind of synth score too.
That,
I
know.
Really keeps the movie
I didn't even
going.
get into that. Like I totally went on Spotify and I played that song while I was working. I was like, doom, doom, doom.
Somebody said this is my new workout playlist.
Oh yeah, dude. It was like the score to that is so like when you're watching the movie, it's so anxiety inducing.
Right.
Like you're just like, oh my God, this thing is just getting out of control. Every scene just gets worse.
Remember, you are one.
And that's, that's part of the thing of this movie. Like, you can do this, but it's 7 days in the new body, 7 days in your old body. No exception. And the character kind of finds a way around that. But every time you rob Peter to pay Paul, there's a consequence, so to speak.
Heavy consequence.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a scene where she looks like
the Thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, dude.
I can't remember. Did I tell you this earlier?
And who is it that directed this? Was it
I can't pronounce
Coraline Farragut or something like that?
Yeah.
There we go.
There's I meant to tell you this if I didn't tell you this. And I don't, it's not really a spoiler if we said it, but I won't say it just yet. But there's a scene in here where Demi Moore comes back on screen and you see her character, like the results of what's been happening. And as soon as I saw that, it reminded me of the scene in Green Lantern where Skarsgård rolls out and he's all changed. And I'm like, Sleazy is going to watch that scene and just bust a gut laughing at it. I
totally did. But I'll tell you what, that scene in the shower, though, at the beginning of the movie, as soon as they showed her, I was like, fuck yeah. Yeah.
Now we're going. Now we're starting the party.
I was like, I'm already going to enjoy this movie. And I did.
And we can't leave out Dennis Quaid.
Oh, Dennis Quaid was really good.
It's like the sleazy was he producer, executive producer,
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, he ran like the TV department or whatever. Oh my God. Did you I about had a panic attack when she's having lunch with him and he's just shoving all those fucking shrimp
or whatever. Yeah.
And you can hear him chewing it and it's flying out of his mouth. Like, if I would have been having lunch with him, I'd have been like, dude, you need to fucking stop now.
That's almost the grossest thing in the movie.
Yeah.
That's grosser than the other stuff in the movie.
It really is. And there's a part at the very end where don't ask me how she makes it back there. She gets in front of the audience and shit just starts and it's so out of control. You just have to laugh and appreciate what you're watching. But man, it's a phenomenal movie. And I don't know if it's like my horror movie of the year, but it's up there. It's pretty damn close.
I don't love the ending. The ending, it goes even more over the top than the rest of the movie.
Right.
And like you said, it's so over the top that it's funny. And it's maybe the only way the movie could have ended. But I still kind of wished it had been like a little sharper or something. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but I wasn't like totally satisfied with the ending. But again, it's like maybe the only way it could have ended. So I can't really.
Yeah. And it's funny because, obviously it's the same person and they're just kind of doing a switcheroo thing. There's a transfer process that has to happen. And the person that's selling the drug reminds her several times, like, there is no we, there is you. And there's points in the movie where she's calling him up bitching and she's like, she did this and that to me and now and he's like, look, there is no we, there's you. You made this decision. You're responsible for the consequences to this decision.
You want to stop?
No. Yeah.
I love sometimes you're watching a movie and you're not sure if something's a reference or not. There's like these great hallway shots and bathroom shots that take me like right back to The Shining.
Yeah.
Like I said, the end gets a little Carrie-ish,
I watched a thing where they kind of broke all the inspirations down from horror movies. And like you said, it is true. There's a hallway scene where you're instantly taken to The Shining. The bathroom scene, you're instantly taken to Psycho. Obviously you said the ending is very
like Carrie related.
I mean, it's crazy. That ending is crazy. Like, it's so crazy you just laugh.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only reaction it elicited from me. But super fun movie. I was really entertained. And like, one of the judgments that I get from like scary movies or horror in general is like, if it gives me anxiety, it's fucking doing its job. Well done. I applaud you.
I like I said, I don't remember. It's like a 2+ hour movie.
Yeah, it's fairly long,
and it doesn't feel like it. Like I said, that it just guns it. Once it starts going, it starts.
Well, it
going.
just really pulls you in. When you get a movie like that, that's like 2 hours, and you don't even know it's 2 hours. That's good.
I'm glad. I don't know what the hell that was.
We got a motocross upstairs.
Yeah,
it's the UAP landing.
Yeah. Hopefully they can't hear that. There's some kind of like buzzing that just
Mars attacks.
Yeah. What if there's like Martians up there zapping everybody? But I'm glad I didn't watch any like trailers to I didn't really know much about this. I just knew it was a substance and I knew people were talking about it.
I remember
But-
seeing like a slight trailer. Like I went to the movies, I saw a slight trailer. I don't even remember what movie it was, but it was like on for like a minute.
Yeah.
They cut right off.
But man, phenomenal fucking flick, dude. And I like, even if you're not really a horror fan, I
Right.
think it's good because it reminds us of our insecurities and stuff. And it, you know, it's obviously a movie about women's insecurities, but obviously we all look in the mirror every day.
yeah.
We age every day, every minute, every second, every hour. And we all have insecurities. And you watch this movie and you're like, yeah, I've kind of had that thought before, you know, like I'm not looking too good today.
It all
Right.
plays on the body horror, the body image, you know. It's like what would you do? Like, would you want to be young again? And
You know, how far would you go to be young and the price you would pay?
I don't think there's anybody that would stop that treatment if they did it, you
Right.
know, like, because they know like, oh, I can just jump right in and do this forever. And
Yeah.
it is what it is. I had a nice time, but phenomenal movie. I gave it 4.5 stars. You said you gave it 4. What'd you give it?
I don't think I ever gave it a stars, but because the ending kind of stops me from totally loving it. I'm in the 4 region though.
Okay, good. So, you know, I think we can all say it's well above average as far as entertainment. And there was some parts I like, it was close to being a 5-star for me, but there's a part where, and I don't want to spoil it, but there's a part where she is not doing well, but she just takes off and runs. And I'm like, are you fucking serious? Like, and she just doesn't run like from one side of the room. She books it downstairs across the city. You're like, how's this bitch moving like that? She's like fucking crippled.
Somebody posted a picture of a woman in like a yellow overcoat and made a substance reference. Like, this is going to be a niche reference, but if you know, you know.
But we are highly recommending it, and it has an average ranking on Letterboxd of 3.9. So you know you're going to have something good for the night to watch. And if you're worried about paying for it, I'm going to give you some advice here. You can get on Amazon Prime Video, go to Mubi, that's MUBI channel, and just sign up for the 7-day free trial, and you can watch The Substance for free. And they actually have some other good movies on there too.
Oh, they got a ton of stuff.
Yeah. So, I mean, I ended up watching, I watched the one nuclear movie after it.
Oh, Threads. Yeah.
Yeah. Threads, man. That's a good movie.
I haven't seen that in God knows how long. I had to watch it.
Yeah.
Since I just got it.
I remember seeing it on when I was a little kid, but obviously you don't register like how good it is.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still relevant to today. I mean, it plays into what would happen under a nuclear attack and how you'd pretty much be fucked if nobody's coming to help you if anything happens.
Right.
You're on your own until you die. But yeah, definitely check it out. And then when you're, you know, all you have to do is cancel it the next day and you still have it for 6 more days. So you've got a couple more movies you can watch out of that.
I think they've announced it is getting a physical release in like January.
Good. I want a 4K of that in a digital code, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check it out. It's a great movie. I think Demi Moore is, I mean, she still got it, dude. That's some great acting on her part in this movie.
I mean, after this, you kind of want to see her do some more stuff. Since
I would love to see her do some more stuff. I think she still got it, man. And not just looks wise, but I mean,
acting.
Yeah, her acting chops are still on par, man. Well done, though. And she's definitely going to be up for a Sleazy at the next year's award ceremony.
People have been throwing around the word Oscar, whether, you know, they don't like to reward horror movies.
No,
but
they don't.
Everybody's being like they should.
I feel like this transcends a little bit more over horror just because of, you know, the topics that are in it, though.
Yeah.
So great movie, though. Definitely check it out. It's on Mubi. You can get a free 7-day trial of that on Amazon Prime, like I said before. Okay, that's the end of our show, episode 196. I think we'll reconvene in 2 weeks like we normally do. And any shout outs or anything that you guys want to do before we leave? No messages, no words of wisdom.
Keep it sleazy.
Yeah, watch the skies.
Yeah.
Later.
Thanks for listening to the Sleazy Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and remember, listen to Sleazy.